All right, it's a day later, and the Monday Night Football loss still stings to me. So if you agree with me, if you're still pissed off at how the game played, the undisciplined, the referees, all of it from Monday Night Football, type me in the chat because I'm still upset. Sure, there's a lot to be happy about with Justin Fields' play and some of that stuff, but overall, I am still very, very pissed off with how that played out. So type me in the comments if you are still upset with Monday Night Football. You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. We're going to get you guys caught up on the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors following Monday Night Football, in which, of course, the Bears lost in heartbreaking fashion, 29-27 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, let's get into our rumors roundup here. Justin Fields, best quarterback in Week 9 just this past weekend. For Smoking Jays, yeah, bear down, because according to Pro Football Focus, at least how they evaluate quarterback play, which they're hit and miss on certain things. I like a lot of their work. I disagree with a lot of their work, but they are a good resource to tap into at times. They gave Justin Fields a 90.5 grade this week, which was the highest grade, the highest ranked quarterback they had in Week 9 of this season. That's pretty damn impressive. Fields has looked really, really good over these past 2 weeks. Justin Fields these past 2 weeks, and especially this week, was tremendous. There's no doubt about that. His average depth of target, which my boy Tom Downey loves that advanced stat, which is saying how far downfield you're throwing it on average. Over 16 yards. That's a ridiculous number. His yards per attempt, very high. His yards per completion, very high as well. Justin Fields was not scared at all. He was challenging the Steelers' defense vertically, and that Pittsburgh defense was top 5 in pretty much every single category coming into this game. 17 of 29, 291 with a touchdown and a pick. I don't even care about the interception because Cam Hayward just made a ridiculous play that was honestly very fluky in a lot of ways. But Justin Fields continues to improve, and the way he threw the football, he was fearless, he was decisive. I was incredibly impressed. That drive to take the lead late, that was a 5-year quarterback drive, okay? And for him to do that in his rookie season, you can't help but be impressed by his poise and by his resiliency throughout that game. Grade Fields' play against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video, so give me an A, B, C, D, or F. If you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down and give me a grade for Justin Fields' play against Pittsburgh. Here's the thing about Fields' play, and by the way, I'd give him an A for Monday Night Football. He's balling out, and he's improving without good coaching. I'm not going to say this is the worst coaching staff of all time, but it's pretty bad if we're being completely honest. Like, at times, when this staff calls plays to Fields' strengths and he makes a big play, you're like, do that more, and then you don't see it again. Like the bootleg to his left where he hits Cole Kmet for a big game. The only other time they went to it, there was a issue in the schematics blocking up front, and T.J. Watt comes unblocked for a sack, and so they're like, well, I guess we can't run bootlegs anymore. No, just tweak it. Like, this coaching staff is hindering Justin Fields a lot of the time, and he is still finding strides. He is still improving. He is still putting up huge games against a team like Pittsburgh that has one of the best defenses in the National Football League. So this kid is got the it factor. He's playing with confidence. Matt Nagy said after the game that when the Bears were set to get the ball back down 6, he looked over at Justin Fields, and Fields kind of gave him that wink, that smile, like, I got this. I'm ready to go. And what did he do? He took the lead with a drive that only took 1 minute and 6 seconds. Justin Fields ain't scared at all, and he is playing at a very, very high level. BetUS is also one of the best sportsbook partners. Hell, the best sportsbook out there in the game. Like Justin Fields, they ball out every week. Go to chatsports.com/Bears. Use our promo code BEARDOWN if you want to bet on some NFL games, some NBA games. I've been telling you recently, go bet on the Chicago Bulls. They're playing tremendous basketball right now. Go to chatsports.com/Bears. Use our promo code BEARDOWN to get a 125% deposit bonus. If you're a sports gambling beginner, well, producer Jack didn't gamble on sports until this season, and he's above 500. So there is money to be made. Chatsports.com/Bears. Use that promo code BEARDOWN. All right, let's keep our Bears rumors roundup going. Fire Matt Nagy. Yeah, 4 Smoking Jays, and I've pretty much been here in the 3 to 4 Smoking Jays range since that Cleveland game because that was such a debacle. And then we saw it again against Tampa Bay, and now while Fields is improving, I think that he's doing that in spite of this coaching staff. That's just a personal belief of mine. This coaching staff must go, and that starts with Matt Nagy. Think about this. How many I would love to look this up and find this out. I'm guessing the answer is very low. How many coaches in NFL history have had 3 straight seasons where they've suffered a 4-game losing streak or more and survived? That's Matt Nagy. He lost 4 games in a row in 2019. He lost 6 games in a row last year. Of course, they rallied and made the playoffs. And now he's lost 4 in a row this year. Technically, he didn't coach the game last week against San Francisco, so I guess that it's only at 3 games for him personally, but the team has lost 4 in a row at the end of the day. Coaches don't survive that, guys. Like, he has to go. Again, he's not the worst coach ever. He's above 500. He's got some decent traits, but you got to maximize Justin Fields, and this staff ain't the staff to do it. These are consistent themes under Matt Nagy. Number 1, they start games very slow. We saw it again last night, especially offensively. No points until, like, the final 2 minutes of the first half where they got a field goal. Can't have it, man, especially against good teams. Lack of discipline, that's number 2. Lining up off sides. Personal foul penalties. Angelo Blackson swinging at a dude last night. I know the Pittsburgh guy did it as well, but we've seen 3 guys get ejected in the last year plus, dating back to last season. I mean, to me, discipline is on coaching. So are penalties, tons of penalties. And again, calls were awful last night. We will talk about the refs once again coming up, but the Bears have a lot of penalties, and especially untimely ones. And that kind of goes back to the discipline thing. Like, when the games are on the line, you got to play smart. And I'm not talking about Cassius Marsh. That should not have been a penalty. That was a joke. But I'm just saying in general, we see this a lot with this team where they get a stop, well, there's a penalty, personal foul, or there's a defensive holding or something like that. Too many penalties, bad clock management as well at times from Matt Nagy. And then number 5, and I won't say this is most important, but pretty damn important, in big games and primetime games, the Bears hardly ever win. As valiant the effort was last night, they lost again. They don't win in prime time. They don't win the big time matchups ever. They beat bad teams and they lose to good teams. That's what Matt Nagy does. And look, at the end of the day, Matt Nagy's teams, they play hard. You can't say they don't fight for them. I think they fought hard last night, and apparently the locker room was very emotional after the game. But playing hard, being emotional for one another, that's not good enough. It's a results-based business. And what have you done for me lately? Since 2018, this team has been painfully mediocre, below 500 overall, 0-2 in playoff games under Matt Nagy. We'll never know what could have been had the double doink not happened in his first year where he was coach of the year back in 2018. But it ain't 2018 anymore, man. This is his 4th season, and we've seen those themes pop up time and time again over the last 3 years. Again, I'll reemphasize this, 3 straight years of 4+ game losing streaks, and it's probably going to get to 5 when the Bears play the Ravens after the bye week. You got to make a change, whether it's now or after the season. Matt Nagy cannot be the coach of this team in 2022. If you want Matt Nagy fired, type FN in the chat. Listen, man, I'm not one to call for people's heads, call for people's jobs, but I just want change, and I'm not going to feel bad about that. So type FN in the chat if you want Matt Nagy fired. If you don't, say not yet if you want, but I just don't think it makes sense to keep this coaching staff. What does make sense is for you guys to subscribe. We crossed 36,000 subs during our watch party, so thanks to all of you. Some of the stuff that you can expect on this channel, daily free videos, like I said, on a daily basis, live streams every Tuesday and during every single game, live watch parties, latest news, rumors, injury updates, other various segments and headlines as well. It's all here on this channel when it comes to the Chicago Bears, youtube.com/BearsNow. We crossed 36,000. Let's get to 37,000 as soon as possible. I want to remind you guys of the Smokin' Jay rumor meter here. 0 Smokin' Jays equals fake news. It's not going to happen. 1 Smokin' Jay, it's barely true. A little pun on words there. It could happen, but it's unlikely. 2 Smokin' Jays, it's in that, firmly in that rumor area. People are talking. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't. 3 Smokin' Jays, it's trending like it's going to happen. It's pretty likely. 4 Smokin' Jays, bear down. It is just a cold, hard fact. So it's been a 4 Smokin' Jay heavy show. Justin Fields, according to Pro Football Focus, was the best quarterback this week. Fire Matt Nagy. Yes, I think that is what should happen. And then at this next one here, Tony Correnti, the lead referee from last night, is he a fraud? You're damn straight he is. 4 Smokin' Jays. The guy is an absolute fraud. He should be embarrassed. More importantly, the NFL should be embarrassed by what we witnessed last night. Look, I'm not an anti-ref guy, but there were several missed calls in the game, and whether you agree with that or not, one thing that to me is not even in question is the fact that he hip-checked Cassius Marsh after he had that epic sack and somehow got a garbage taunting penalty as Marsh is jogging off the field. You can tell Marsh tries to avoid him. We've got the picture right here. Marsh is leaning left. He sticks his tailbone out, hip-checks him, and then throws the flag for taunting. What is that? That is garbage by Tony Corrente. He should be suspended. I don't think termination should be out of the possibilities as well. He should issue an apology. If we're going to fine, suspend, and reprimand players for making certain actions, we should hold NFL referees to the same standard. They're not making millions, but they're making six figures. Good referees are paid very, very well. The NFL should suspend them. They should suspend Tony Corrente and send a message. I think these referees have too much power. I think they know they have too much power, and they can do whatever they want. And I'm tired of these officials sticking their nose in these games and determining outcomes. There is basically, biases aside, I know I host this show. I'm passionate about this team. The referees cost the Bears 7 points last night. That taunting call was garbage, and it led to a field goal. And the low block or whatever, where I don't even think there was contact, and either way, it was not a penalty, that cost the Bears 4 points because it was a touchdown, and they ended up having to settle for a field goal, and the Bears lost by 2. That's a 5-point difference. It should have been Ben Roethlisberger driving down late to have to get a touchdown to win the game, not a field goal, which would have led to better drama for the league anyway. These rules, this bad officiating, it's bad for the NFL. I'm not saying it's ruining the sport because we're all still watching, and I'm going to keep watching, but to say that it's tainting it, I don't think that's out of line. This rule is bad. It helps nobody out, and Tony Corrente is a total fraud for hip checking Cassius Marsh last night. I thought that was Bush League, and quite frankly, I'll just say it was absolute bullshit. If you think Tony Corrente is a fraud, type F in the chat. How can you not? I had numerous Steelers fans tweeting at me, dude, that was garbage. Dude, we got lucky. Yeah, you did get lucky. The Bears got hosed. There's no way around it. Now, the Bears lost largely because they kept shooting themselves in the foot, but they didn't win in partial reason because of the officiating. Like, you can't dispute that. I'm not saying it was the determining factor. I'm just saying it was a factor. And if officials are a factor in the outcome, that's not a good look for the National Football League. All right, a couple other headline storylines coming out of that game. A couple of injuries. Allen Robinson got banged up on that big catch late on the slot fade, hamstring. Matt Nagy didn't really provide much of an update on Sunday. I know he just briefly met with the media a moment ago, so if you're watching live here just after 3 o'clock Central, I'm not sure how much was addressed there. Akiem Hicks has an ankle sprain. We'll see. He continues to get banged up, which is unfortunate. Cole Kmet had a breakout game. That was nice to see. 6 catches, 87 yards on 8 targets, an average of 14.5. So I think that was nice to see. Also, can we stop seeing Jimmy Graham, please? I know he had the nice catch up the seam, which, by the way, that was an absolute dart from Justin Fields, but I don't need to see Jimmy Graham anymore. They tried to force feed him in the red zone. It's like, why? They haven't thrown it to him in 2 months. But I like what I saw from Cole Kmet. And then one more. Guys, Larry Borum's rock solid, man. 2 weeks in a row, he's allowed, I believe, 3 total pressures to Nick Bosa and T.J. Watt. The second sack by Watt was a scheme issue. That was not allowed by Borum. That was not his fault. Okay, you give up 1 sack to Borum in your to Watt in your second career start. Sign me up. Larry Borum is a starting caliber tackle in this league, at least from what I've seen very early on. I've been impressed with what he's done. All right, want to remind you guys, subscribe to the channel. We're growing like crazy. Bye week coming up, but we will continue to have you guys updated every single day with daily videos, news, rumors, injury updates, and a whole lot more. So subscribe. It's youtube.com/BearsNow.